Kalkoy after being on anchor for a few days. Unfortunately, the anchor windlass has burnt out again, which is the second time this year. I think our chain and our anchor are too heavy for the windlass that's standard on this boat, which is a 1700 watt 12 volt windlass, and I've already changed two out. So we're just passing Denbury, where we came a few days ago on our motorbikes that we rented. There's the harbour where all the day boats go out. That's the roadway that cuts down, and just behind this piece of land here is the old ruins that we went and visited. And then Denbury itself is just coming up in front to the left, and we're on our way to Finnicky. We've got about 3.5 hour sail today. It took us an hour to get the anchor up. They do not take a lot of beatings, these anchor windlasses. They're absolutely useless. So we need to find a chandler when we get to Finnicky and see if they've got one in stock. If not, see if we can get one ordered. We are just a few miles away from Finnicky. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're hoping to anchor up in the bay just outside the marina, and Monday hope to find a chandler where we can order up a windlass. That alarm was my autopilot, had just come off. Everything's as calm as anything, there's no stress on the rudder, but it decided to turn itself off. Hence why you have to be on watch, or at least have one person on watch all the time. We have anchored in Finnicky, or Finnicky. There's the marina. We are outside in this big bay. It's very, very shallow. We're in 3.3 metres of water with 30 metres out on the chain. Meant to be a good holding ground. It's all sand apparently. Right the way along here, massive bay, can hold hundreds and hundreds of yachts on anchor, and we're the only one here. There ain't another yacht on anchor. They're all in the marina. There is a bit of a storm, looking like it's brewing. They said it would be finished by late this afternoon, so we're sitting here. It's Sunday. We've been able to drop the anchor. Our problem is retrieving it. The motor windlass seems to have burnt out again. So, being it's Sunday, the chandler's probably ain't open. So we will sit here for the day. Baby's cooking pizza. Well, we've just left Finnicky. There's the marina down there on the left. Absolute beautiful, beautiful coastline. Just over there is a rock cut tomb, dotted all the way down this coastline in Turkey. This is a fish farm, well, several fish farms out here. So that's a fish farm. Fish farm just there. Fish farm over the back. On the chart plot there shows quite a few fish farms here. They do move them around. I can only see 3, but there's about 7 or 8 on the chart plotter.
Copy there, boy.
Cheers, mate.
That's hot, girl.
Lovely. Cheers, Dave. And over the back where those islands are, if you go round there and then turn to your port side, eventually you come to Antalya. Now, when I've done my research, for some reason or other, I thought we could come to Finnicky and be covered on our insurance, but we didn't go into Finnicky town centre at all, because I realised that our insurance that runs out at 30 degrees longitude east we're 10 miles outside of our insurance cover, so Finnicky does not actually cover us on our insurance to be here. So technically at this precise moment this boat is not insured. So we've got to go 10 miles back towards Kalkoy, where we were yesterday, and then we'll be insured again. So where we were going to try and see if we could get Chandler's to order up an anchor windlass, although it did work this morning. It is slow, but we were only in 3 meters of water, so it wasn't pulling up a lot of chain. We have managed to come out on the windlass. So this was the furthest we was intending to go, finicky, but unfortunately, because we're not insured, I didn't want to leave the boat in the anchorage for a day or two so we could explore the area. And even if we didn't have an issue ourselves and somebody else had hit our boat, technically we wouldn't be able to claim off of them because we shouldn't be here. And that's why there's hardly any private yachts sailing around this area. There's been a very, very short amount of people sailing around here. So we've got to turn to our starboard round this corner, go across Demery, and then we'll be back into insurance. So we've decided to head for Cash, which is about 16 hours, which means we're getting in the dark. Although we know Cash, we've been there, we're going to probably stop somewhere en route and anchor out, try and find a somewhere good, shallow, so we don't put too much strain on the windlass, which is causing us nothing but problems. And then make it on the next day into Cash. And in Cash there's several Chandlers where hopefully somebody can order a windlass for us. And I think we're now going to make our way back up to GoCheck after that, over the next few days. Check out from Turkey in GoCheck, and then head over to Rhodes. We do need to be careful today because there's quite a few Greek islands very close to Turkey, and there's a dotted line on the chart plotter that tells you what territory is Turkish waters and what territory is Greek waters. Well, we're heading back up towards Cash, and it doesn't get much calmer than this. Unfortunately, we have no wind, so we're just running on the port engine at 5 knots. But look how calm that sea is. So just ahead is Kalkoy, over the back is Demery, round that corner is Finicky. That island up there is Kevkova, where Seahorse Bay is. We're 3 miles away from Seals Bay. We're just going to pass this island though and work our way up into Cash. Our aim is to get up to GoCheck, check out of Turkey, and then it's about a 30 nautical mile passage south down to the tip of the northern tip of Rhodes. So we've got about 6-7 days left here in Turkey. Get over to Rhodes, get in the marina, give the boat a good wash and clean, and then head back to the UK for a couple of weeks. And then come back to Rhodes and start organising all the work that needs to be done on this boat to get it ready to go across the Atlantic for next year. So for those that are interested, if you see this line where my fingertip is that runs up here, across there, and then up there, as I zoom in you'll see it just there. See that little pink dotted line? Not the orangey coloured line, that's my course. But if you notice it here, it comes across here and then down here. Now this is Turkish waters here, and anything this side is Greek waters over there. And if you look, we really should be coming here and keeping inside Greek waters and then going into Cash. We're actually going to be sailing over Turkish waters just for around this one island. It's only because it's easier and safer, although there's plenty of room here. We're going to do what we did on the way out and then go up into Cash. So technically we could get called up by being in Greek waters when we're still registered as being in Turkish waters, and we're not registered to be in Greek waters, but that's that Greek and Turkish defining line. So we really need to stay here this is all okay, but this little bit here isn't. We're just going to break into Greek waters, and we're not registered in Greek waters, we're registered in Turkish waters. But to scout around that little bit takes literally about 40 minutes. So we could get a VHF radio called by Greek Coast Guards telling us to get back in Turkish waters, because we're not registered, as I say, in Greek waters. But we'll see what happens. Nothing happened on the way out, so I'm sure nothing will happen on the way in. But technically we should keep this side of this dotted pink line, which we are there, but we're just not on that little bit there. We're going to come round here. Okay, so we've decided not to break maritime law. We were going to go across here, which would have tipped us into being in Greek waters, but we've now decided to reroute the journey to take us through Turkish waters, so that we're not going around this part here, which is Greek territory. We're staying in Turkish waters. There you go. Looks like we might have a storm rolling in over Kaş. So that land there is Turkish mainland, Turkey mainland. That island in front is a Turkish island. That is a Greek island, and the one over the back, you can just see the tail end of, that's a Turkish island. So we are literally sailing right between Turkish waters and Greek waters. And Kaş is just over there, where the storm is. So we've got the island of Megistri just in the background. So this is actually Greece, and this is Turkey. We can almost throw a stone and touch Turkey. We can almost throw a stone and touch Greece. That's one Greek island. It looks like two, but that's one Greek island over there. And we've got to go through this channel here to stay in Greek territory, to stay in Turkish territory. And where we're going, Kaş, is right where the thunderstorm is coming and the rain. So that catamaran there is officially in Greek waters, and we're officially in Turkish waters. This is Kaş Marina. Reality is out there in the bay, just behind the back of them, on anchor. The anchor is definitely in trouble. It's struggled to put itself down in the water today. And this is our restaurant. Dave's over there. Beautiful marina, goes right the way back up there. Long inlet to get in here, a bay at the end. And there is Kaş, where we went the other day. Had the bikes out. Can't see it, but just over that hillside, or just on the top of that hillside, is a big amphitheatre. But this place is lovely. I just went into the Chandler's, Yacht Chandlery, see if he had a windlass. No. Can he order one? No. I thought you don't really care. So I said, well, I'm going to go check in a couple of days. I'll go there and pick one up. He said, yeah, go check's the place to go. And just there, next door, can't quite see it, is our supermarket where we're going to get our provisions. But today we sailed from Finiki back to Kaş. Took us 7 hours. We hit a storm on the way through, but other than that it was quite nice. It's turned out a beautiful evening. We left Kaş about 4 hours ago, and we're on our way to Göcek. We've passed Kalkan already. We've got about another 5.5 hours to go, so this would be a good 8-9 hour sail today. But look how calm that is. Reality is flying. She will go faster than 6.5 knots on one engine in these conditions. We'll probably get her to about 7.5-8 knots if we turn the engine up to its maximum power. But there's no point. We've got plenty of time as long as we get in well before dark to because anchoring in Gochek is a big bay with 5 or 6 marinas around it. It was busy when we was there earlier in the season, which was about 3.5-4 weeks ago. But we expect now that most of the summer season is coming to an end, the bay outside the marinas in Gochek should be a little bit emptier. We do need to find somewhere very shallow to drop the anchor because the windlass is literally gone now. It's not even able to pull the weight of the chain up. We had to use a rope around one of the sail winches to pull the anchor up today. We're hoping to be able to get a windlass in Gochek, even if we've got to stay in Gochek for 2 or 3 days whilst I order one. It only takes half hour to change it over, and then we can start setting out passage plan south to Rhodes. We're heading in a north westerly direction up the coast of Turkey. Gochek's 30 miles away, so we've got 5 to 6 hours and we'll be there. So we've got 2.5 hours roughly left until we're in Gochek after leaving Kash this morning. We are just passing Butterfly Valley that is there, Udinese that is there. Once we get round this headland, we'll be on our final path into Gochek. We're flying at 7 knots. Wind's picked up, give us a little bit of an angle, just flying on the jib with one engine running and doing a good 7 knots. So we have just reached Gochek and we are looking for a place to anchor, ideally somewhere very shallow, which means we've got to get right down the back here. And it looks busier than it was last time we was here. Yeah, lovely yacht that, isn't it, eh? This is how busy it is round here. Look, all them yachts all tied up on the quayside over there. "48 metres, we've got a long way to go to try and find shallow water where we feel we can drop the hook and go back. Luckily we haven't got too much heavy winds for the next 2 or 3 days. Look at that beauty, hey? Look at that. Yeah, some stunning yachts around. Still 47 metres, we've dropped hardly anything. Right. This is where we anchored last time, down here. You've got to be careful because you see all those boats that are facing us on the back side there.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have all got their chains out and stern too, so we can't get too close to their chains because they're out. After a 9-hour sail from Kash, we are back in Gochek. And we needed to find somewhere very shallow to anchor as we have a problem with the windlass, and we managed to anchor in just 2.2 metres of water. So long 9 hours today, but the coastline of Turkey was breathtaking as normal, as usual. This mooring field is just chock-a-block with yachts, and the reason most of these boats are at this back end is because it's shallower and all the big yachts are up the front. It's because they've got a lot more chain, so they can deal with a lot more depth. But it's mainly 50 metres all the way in until you get about halfway into this anchorage, then it slowly drops down onto where we are, which is a beach just there. We're about, I reckon, about 250 yards off that beach, and as I say, we are in 2.2 metres of water, which is dirty and green, so we can't make any water with a water maker because it's too dirty. We don't know if we're going to be here for 2 or 3 days whilst we try and see if we can locate a new electric windlass motor. But all the way around these bays there are yachts that are stern to up against the island, right over the back. It's a bit of a minefield coming through here because there's certain areas that have to be left for these big yachts to come out of the marinas think there's 5, maybe 6 marinas here dotted around. So there's an area here where we couldn't go. We have to stay out of this area where it says stop. This is literally as far as you can go because these yachts have got to come out. You can't anchor anywhere over there because these have all got their anchors down a long way out in front, and then they're pulled back onto the quayside in the marina, and then stern to tied off. So there are areas where it looks like there is anchoring area available, but there isn't. That corridor up there is the main corridor for all the boats to come in and out. You can see that grey boat coming down now. He's probably heading into a marina. That grey boat in the centre. In fact, you can actually see a boy out there in yellow telling you can't anchor inside there because the other boats have got their anchors out and they're stern to behind this white yacht in front of me. Good morning from GoCheck. We are on the hunt for a windlass today. This is GoCheck Marina, and 2 weeks ago we came in the office to see if there was any availability. Didn't even get a price because they said no, you need 2 years to get into this marina, now go away.
Basically, that's what they said, isn't it?
I said, how much is it anyway? She said, what's the point? We don't have any spaces available, and when we do in 2 or 3 years time the price will be different. Yeah, this is just part of GoCheck Marina.
Right, mate, what are you doing down there?
I'm having a kip. What does it look like?
You've got big captain's quarters down there with big double bed. I've got a feeling you're changing another windlass, aren't you?
Yeah.
Here you go. You can have a film of it.
Okay, I'm stuck in this tight quarters. There's my chain. And there's my windlass. Now, this is the 3rd time I've changed this, the 2nd time this season. I changed it last time in Sarandi in Albania, which is right opposite Corfu, which we managed to get this anchor windlass from. No one had one in Albania. It's lasted 3 months exactly. So we've gone ashore at GoCheck, left a deposit on a new one which is being delivered tomorrow. We've just received a phone call saying, they haven't got one. So take this one off with the one I took off in Albania, and they're going to rebuild them both. So we've got a spare plus this one. But he's also told me that he thinks another manufacturer might be able to make it fit onto this gearbox, and it's much more powerful than this silly 1700 watt 12 volt one that keeps burning out. So here I go again, changing the windlass. Luckily it's not too difficult, but I'm literally bent over backwards in a little tiny cubby hole trying to do it. Right, let's get on with it. Ghost town. Calicoy. Well, they never left any windows or doors or roof structure. No roof tiles anywhere. So they obviously robbed everything out, including the timber joists in between the floor levels, and then just left the brickwork. Because there is no timber structure or roof tiles, windows or doors anywhere that I can see. Little church at the top, and there's another church right down the bottom. I believe it was something like 1923, something like that, that all the Greek people that lived there had to get out when some sort of agreement was signed with the Turks. The Greeks were rehoused back in Greece, and then the Turks, I believe, moved back in here, and I think it was something like 1957. There was an earthquake and it kind of demolished most of the buildings, the roofs all fell in, and it just became a ghost town after that. Kalkoy Ghost Town. What do you think? 100, 200 buildings? Maybe 300?
Oh, probably more actually.
You think so?
300 to 400 I would think, if you look all over there as well.
Yeah, well, we've already done a third of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be over 100 buildings just in this area, I suppose. That looks like a well. I've seen a few of these, but we're not sure if they're wells or windmills, we don't know. One thing that's a bit of a shame is there's not enough information up here telling us exactly what some of these buildings were.
No.
Which I think is a shame, really.
Little skink.
Yeah, little lizard. But one thing's for sure, every single window, door frame, every truss, every roof tile was taken. Every rafter. There's no wood, no roof tiles. So when they had the earthquake come through and decided to leave, obviously people came in and took the best materials that were easy to take. Hence the buildings are literally just concrete frames. Interesting. I'm down here for the third time installing a new windlass motor. Oh, it's tight, but doable. Just a nut to go on the top, tighten the motor up, run the cable, lugs back, cable, tie the cables up, and then check it. Well, that is what happens when you don't get your anchoring right. There are 3 boats here. There's 1, 2, and there's 1 in the middle, and that's its mast there. So you've got a sailboat there, jammed in the V section between the sport power boat and the other monohull, and that's the other monohull's mast. But just behind it is a 4th boat, and that 4th boat is also looking quite close. Unless that 3rd boat is a twin mast boat, but I don't think it is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 boats here, and 3 of them you can see now. The 3rd boat in the middle. That mast is a 3rd boat, that's a boat, and that's a boat. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and potentially another 1 or 2 behind it.
Yeah, and he's one pulling his anchor up.
I don't know. Can you see someone pulling an anchor up?
You could hear a noise. But
No, it's just a chain rattling over the front of the other boat, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we've actually got 4 boats here, all touching each other. 3 sailboats and a sport boat. Yeah, donk, donk.
Oh, you can hear it now.
Yeah. I mean, they're not smashing into each other, they're just like all locked together. Luckily the wind's pushing them away from us.
Let's hope they're coming over.
Yeah. See if we can grab their attention, the old Bill coming over.
Is he coming this way?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got his attention. Yeah, we've got the police's attention.
I'm not sure they're coming this way though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's it.
I won't shine my light on him.
No, not now. At least we've got his attention.
Here we go.
Shall I put a deck light on?
Yeah, put the back light on, Dave.
That's the one under the radio, Gal, isn't it?
It's the top one under the radio. There's two, and it's the top one. Yep. Dave, just take that torch. Don't shine it in their cabin, whatever you do. Yeah, good evening. Do you speak English? We've got fenders out. Hi there, you speak English? We've got 4 yachts here together. We've got 3 monohulls and a sport boat, all locked together. We don't know. We don't know. No, we don't know. I think the 3 monohulls I think turned up today. The sport boat has been here for some time. And the sport boat I don't think has moved. I think it's the other yachts. Okay?
Thank you.
Cheers. Okay, well, we managed to get the local gendarme. Let's see what they're going to do. You've got to turn that torch off, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't want to shine it until I was sure that they was coming over here, but they are coming over, so. There are no captains on board, we don't think. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I mean, what can they do?
Well, if someone's on board, they can wake them.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean.
I'm not sure there's anybody on board.
Well, we know there's nobody on the sport boat. I saw somebody on this monohull on the right-hand side of the sport boat. So he's trying to get them up if they're in there. This is what we call boats disco dancing late at night. We see these boats, don't we, Dave? These police boats. We actually see them every night,
Yeah.
driving around with their flashing lights on. They are literally patrolling this bay quite a lot, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And the concern is for us, if they break free from them, they can always drift into us, isn't it?
Yeah, the good news is the wind's blowing them away from us and it's predicted to stay this way all night. I mean, we've not moved from this angle. we're 90 degrees onto the beach and we've been this way for the last 5 or 6 hours. So if they're going to drift anywhere, they're going to drift away from us as long as the wind stays this way. But there's nobody on any of those boats, is there?
No.
And there is 4 boats there, look, all together.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to try and go in and push them apart, surely not.
It looks well. Yeah, I think he is. I think you're spot on.
So I think the 4th one at the back actually hasn't touched any of the others.
No, it looks like he's just kept it away.
Maybe he's going to... I hope he doesn't ask us to move.
I don't think he'll ask us to move, but...
Well, a lot of reviews on Navily, people did say that they'd been moved away from certain areas here.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He might be coming back to us.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he's made enough noise, so if anybody's on them boats, they'd have been up by now.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think all he can do is just monitor the situation. I think, by the sounds of what he said to me, he knows the sports boat
Yeah.
is always here.
Yeah.
Because when I said the sport boat, there's nobody on, he said, yeah, we know, or something.
See, there's that boat that's just gone out, see it?
Yeah, that's a catamaran. That catamaran only came in about an hour ago.
Yeah, that's the one we heard pulling its anchor up.
Okay, so he's off. There's not a lot he can do.
Well, I'm just wondering if he's off to that near the wooden dock.
What, where the restaurants are, yeah.
So maybe he's going there since there's any timber boats there.
Yeah. Oh well. You can turn our back lights off, Dave, I think.
Yeah, we've done what we can do.
Yeah, well, we got someone's attention, so we've done our bit. So we've seen this little rib come back. Yep, that's one of the owners. Yep. So one of them's come back. Is it the one in the middle, the smaller yacht, or the bigger yacht on the right?
Well, I can't see him going to the back of this one.
No, so I think he's in the middle boat, which hopefully he can just reverse out and pull his chain up. Just hope his chain's not wrapped over the others, because that'd be a right mess. Okay, we've got some activity now.
If someone's asleep there, I'd be amazed, would you?
Well, it would be unbelievable if somebody had slept through all of the sirens that were going off earlier and all that driving around, and when he went round 3 times just now.
Yeah.
So the gendarme did leave from the last video we done, and they left for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think they were going around some of the restaurants, maybe on the waters, on the quay side of the water, asking people if they had a boat out here. But they didn't go to where he come from, which was just down there. Yeah, he's up on deck now with his red light on his head. Yeah, he's the middle boat, isn't he? Yeah, he's the middle boat, which...
But I'm just wondering if he's not police, he's port worker.
Oh, you mean he might not be the owner of the
I
boat?
don't think he's the owner of the boat. I think he's a port worker that's come over.
Right, you think maybe
And
the gendarme have got an agreement with somebody?
yeah.
I think the guy is pointing to the boat on the right, saying that's the one that's caused the issue. We can't say that. We don't know, do we?
No.
So, is he contracted to come and sort out these issues, or is he the owner? Well, it's all fun and games.
Yeah, he looks like he's pulled. Has he pulled a line, or is he just resting on the boat? No, he's just resting on the boat.
I would figure if he was the owner of that boat, he'd be starting the engine up quite quickly and knowing where everything was.
Yeah.
As this guy looks like he's got to look around to see.
Yeah, I don't think he's the owner.
Yeah, we don't think he's the owner now. Right, okay. Yeah.
All happens at sea, mate.
It all happens at sea. So how we alerted the harbour master police was we did go on Google to find a phone number for Go Check Harbour Master, which wasn't listed. We was about to turn our ship to shore radios on, and we saw them over in the distance, and we used a flashlight to grab their attention. They look a long way away from us, but they're about 80, 100 feet away. That sport boat is about 100 foot away from us. Unfortunately, 4 boats and everybody is ashore. Okay, he's got a fender in his hand, so he's going to try and lower a fender down and probably just protect them as best he can until the owners come back.
This is what can happen at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we've seen a few things go on in anchorages, haven't we? In all fairness, we've had our own fun and games. So we've got 2 people now on the big monohull, trying to see if they can move that one or the sport boat. We've got 2 monohulls there right next to each other, almost about to touch. You've got that one with the sport boat wrapped round it. They've moved one, the smaller monohull.
They're keeping an eye on that, because that looks like that's drifting now. See it go?
Yeah, might just be the wind on it, I'm not
Could
sure.
be.
And we're also moving from side to side,
Yeah.
so it looks like it's moving away.
If you look at the boat behind it, it's moved across it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm filming that and it looks like it's coming behind the back of our engine on our tender,
But we're swinging.
but we're swinging up. We're swinging up
He's
there.
moved right across the other boat now, look.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's close to that to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's going to hit that.
Do you think so?
If he's not careful. Look at it moving. Yeah. That's moving. Has it pulled his anchor up?
That's the problem, innit? You can hear the wind whistling, picking up again. So that's the sport boat. And we've all got different opinions, but I think the sport boat was moved downwind. I think it's caught up on the smaller yacht, and then the smaller yacht couldn't hold both of them, and then they dragged onto the bigger yacht. That's what I'm thinking. The only reason I think that is the smaller yacht was upwind of the other 2, and the wind would have, if anything, blown the other 2 yachts, if they had the issue, downwind, and left the power yacht upwind. It's hard to say. But then, as you say, where the boats have been moving around and they've moved the other one out, they could have dislodged those and moved them further down, but I don't know.
Let's Just how close they are to us. That's what.
Well, we've been here, what, 5 days?
We ain't moved.
And but we've said about how many people anchor so close to here.
And with very little chain.
Yeah, we've seen them drop chain and get off their boats too quickly. I mean, that monohull looks like it's now getting closer to the big yacht here.
Definitely is, yeah.
I think it's just sort of sailing upwind a little bit, and then the wind blows it back, and then it sails upwind on its anchor.
Well, it looks like it's getting close.
Yeah, it does. I agree with you. It's hard to know what's moving.
Well,
Yeah, look at that.
and we saw it pretty close to that.
Wow, look at them. All in a row like donuts.
That's got close, look. I think that one's moving.
Yeah, yeah, they're touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, look
Go,
at that. Look at that. How close are they?
Yeah, look.
Yeah. You just see the gap between the bow and the stern on the starboard side. Sorry, on the port side.
I don't think they can do anything with this bigger boat.
Well, I think whatever happened over the last hour or so, they're definitely further away from us than where they were.
Oh, they're further away from us.
And the wind is just
Yeah.
pushing them down. Okay, we think, we're not sure, but we think they've now got this monohull started, and they're getting the anchor up. Yeah, so the one that was the one in the middle, not the monohull with the sport boat wrapped around it, but the one that was behind them. They've managed to start that. There's now 3 small tender boats, none of the owners, and a coast guard still, with staff trying to start these engines, and they've got this one, and you can hear the anchor coming up. So this is one they're going to move out the way, which was close to the boat behind it and close to this when the wind swings at a certain angle. So I think once they've moved this boat, which is now underway, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning, they've been out here for an hour and a half messing around, but they are getting somewhere. Can't quite see the anchor up yet, but he must be getting it there. Yeah, there you go. I think that's the anchor up. No, not quite. Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if it's caught over him. Yeah, he's reversing backwards because he was getting too close to that big monohull. Well, let's have a look. I mean, that is close.
Yeah. Look at the mast in the background, he's pulling them back.
So they're still trying to see if they can start this one and get the anchor up and move it.
He's sailing that one away.
Yeah. Right.
I've got this anchor coming up now.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's locked.
Well, it's making a grinding noise over the other one, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it is the monohull that they've got going. Dave.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Wow. I'm impressed that they've managed to start all these boats up.
Well, they've earned their corn tonight, haven't they? So they're sailing away in the...
Yeah, they've
Monohull
sailed.
there, they've
They've
got
sailed.
that one
Yeah,
out.
that one was the fourth one involved.
Yeah.
So they've moved the third one and the fourth one. They've just got these two to do. Dave can actually see the chains wrapped over each other here.
Yeah.
I can't quite pick it up on the camera, but he's there trying to sort the chains out.
Yeah. Yeah, look.
You can hear the grinding noise.
He's got his foot on it, look.
Yeah, he's off. Yeah, look, Dave. They're moving that boat forward. He's sailing that boat forward on the engine
He
now.
is, yeah.
Taking it out of deeper water, see him?
Yeah. And he's got it off. They've tied them together, haven't they?
Very clever. They might be bringing up both chains at the same time, you know. The one I could see coming up, Dave, is on the sport boat. Yeah.
There it's caught.
And now it's locked. Yeah, it's locked. Yeah, that's locked, solid. Ah, look, there it is. There's the anchor. He's got the anchor. Oh. That anchor is just hanging now. He's actually got the anchor up
Yeah.
on the sport boat, but I don't think he's got the sport boat started, has he? Yeah. Yeah, so the other boat that's been assisted out is down there with the flashing red and blue lights that are into deeper water.
Somebody on this one. So you got the lights on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's close to that one.
Anchor goes the anchor going down. It's not that small boat again, is it?
I believe so.
No.
You've been over there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, we've got boats being moved everywhere. Yeah, look, there's the guy on the tender, see him?
Yeah.
He's actually sitting on the tender, trying to untangle that. There he is.
Needs to be careful.
Think he done it?
Yes.
So what we make of it, Dave, is the first tender that came out, where the young lad tried to do what he could, and he got one boat, he got the smallest monorail out that was jammed in the middle.
Yeah.
He then couldn't get his other boat started, and that's when the other two ribs came out with obviously more experience, you know.
Might help.
Yeah, but just more experience as well, I think, because they managed to start every single one of these boats up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on time.
The problem they've got is they're actually being drifted now.
Yeah.
I don't think that anchor on that monohull's now holding them. You would think they've left the monohull anchor down to keep them somewhere whilst they pull the sport boat anchor up. Yeah, no, I think they're staying put.
Yeah, I think they've left
The boat is out there looking for an anchor, place to anchor. That wind's picking up, isn't it? Oh yeah, look at it. Look at the speed of it. Not speedy Gongalis. Yeah, they will be. Do you know, I don't think so, because it's got two lights on. And here comes the police boat coming back, I think. Right, they've managed to untangle the big yacht from the sport boat, and they're now moving the big one out at quite fast speed. Got one man up the front, one man on the helm, and they're going to go and try and anchor that somewhere. And there is the sport boat. So Did they pull the anchor up on the sport boat, or did they put it up on the monohull? It must have been on the monohull. Yep. Well, they've done it. They've untangled 4 boats. Well done. Untangled 4 boats, 3 monohulls and a sport boat, and moved another boat out of the way. Very good. Round of applause for them men. Excellent work. They've done very well. Well, that is the boat that they just moved. This big monohull. And they've anchored right in front of us. And that is no more than about 35-40 feet away from the front of this boat. So my anchor is probably underneath that boat. Well and truly underneath it. Our anchor chain is out there, and they've just put that boat, dropped the anchor down, and they couldn't put much more down, because if it spins 180 degrees it'd be in the marina. That white boat that you're seeing there, a couple of white boats, are in the marina, and that's that boat that they've just anchored right in front of us. Not too keen on that. This is the front window of our saloon. I figured that right up against the front of our boat. Let's hope he don't drift throughout the night, because if he does, he's coming straight on at the front of us, and that will do some damage, especially as we're a catamaran. So after the madness that ensued last night, when we had 4 or 5 yachts all wrapped round each other, we woke up this morning, and this is where the yacht is. We could almost share a cigarette and a cup of coffee together. That is no more than 15 feet away from this boat, and that's where they left it. Madness. So we are hoping to say goodbye to the beautiful town of Gochek. Dave's got the ship's papers. We've got to meet an agent at customs, and hopefully we can check out and then get on our way over to Rhodes. Although we have got big winds today, gusting up to 37, we might sail up towards Marmaris, hug the coastline of Turkey, and then take the shorter journey over to Rhodes. If we go directly to Rhodes, what's it, 42 miles?
42.2 nautical miles.
But if we go up to Marmaris and then go, it's more like 50 odd. So we've got to make a decision depending on how rough it is outside. 56, yeah. So we'll add whatever that is, 14 miles to our journey, which is another 2.5 hours of sailing. So from an 8-hour sail, it'll be 10 and a half, 11 hours. Or if we go direct, we can't put as much power on the engines as we want, because it depends on the sea state. If we go too fast, we'll be slamming into the waves. So we might have to go as slow as 6-7 knots to be comfortable, which will then still take 9-10 hours to get to Rhodes from Gocheck. But we've had a great time here. Gocheck, it's been really beautiful. So, just down here is where we're hoping to meet our lady on her push bike, and a bit further down this path is the customs clearance office. Our tender at the moment is just on this dock here, but apparently we've got to move it to that dock just out. There's a little dock there with them boats on, that's where we might have to move it, so she's going to come along and tell us what to do.
Do you want me to bring the tender round?
What, round to the custom dock? Yeah. Do you want to do that? Okay. Alright. So I'll stay here and wait for her, and then I'll tell her you're moving it to the customs dock. Yeah. Right, so David's got to move the tender, which is in the middle of these boats here. So our little reality is just the other side of those boats up against this wall, and he's got to move it not to this wooden pier in front, but a wooden pier behind the back where there's a couple of tenders. He's got to go and put the tender there, and then there's a walkway from there across into the customs hall. That's it, that's what we've got to do. Get all our documents all stamped. I think we then got to go passport control, but we'll see. Hopefully it's all done from over there. They do want us to move the boat. Now reality is just there, and they want us to move the boat in front of the customs dock. The problem is this is shallow, so for me to get it in deep enough water by that speedboat, which is actually next to us anyway because we're just here, we'd have to move her further away from the customs dock in clear water than we are by being in shallow water just over the back. So we're going to leave reality where she is, and they may want to get on our tender and then go over to the boat to inspect the boat, but she reckons it's unlikely. So let's sit here and wait for our lady. Once the agent turns up, we'll crack on. So David's taking the tender over to the customs dock, just behind the back of this wooden pier. But he can only now, I think, gain entrance into the custom hall, so he might have to stay there until I come back with the agent. Right. Ah, our agent's there already. Okay, there's our lady agent. You can now go into customs. So we've done passport control in there where it says Maritime Border Gate with an agent. She's now basically said we can't leave this area for the next 20 minutes because it's still part of border control. Reality is just floating there somewhere. There's Reality. There's the dinghy dock we had to come to. And she's just basically said wait around for 20 minutes whilst I go and print the transit log, which I think is the official document that says we can now leave Turkey and head over to Rhodes. So in the meantime, we've done what we normally do. We've ordered up a couple of beers from this restaurant. We are heading out of Göcek. So we've got about 9 hours minimum in front of us today. Our plan is to have a look what it's like outside heading directly over to Rhodes, but if it's looking quite bad then we'll hug the coastline up to Marmaris, and although we've checked out of Turkey, maybe find somewhere just to hide and then leave in the morning. It's much calmer the weather to tomorrow. We'll see what it's like. Mate, it's blown a hoolie out here, getting up to 40 knots. So, we are battling it today. Göcek, Turkey, on our way to Rhodes. And this is in the calm bay. We've got 8-9 hours once we get through that cut of rough weather for 9 hours. So we've just made the cut through 2 islands. Göcek is down there and turn right. We're now going out into the open sea. Once we get round that corner there, it's about 2 o'clock. Fethiye is that town there, and Göcek town is kind of behind this island. And this is one of the islands with one of the cuts. There's about 5-6 cuts you can come out of, and there's a massive bay behind there. Göcek, fabulous place. So we've got a real nice hot day today. We've got about 8.5-9 hours. There's another cut there that takes you through into the bay. It's all part of Göcek. You see that boat going through, and that's kind of the end of Göcek Bay. Just round that corner to his left hand side. Well, this is what it's like in 30 knots to 40 knots of wind, bang on the nose, no sails out, both engines running at 2500 to 2600 RPM. We've decided to abandon trying to get to Rhodes. The wind is only going to pick up to 38 to 40, so we're going to head for an anchorage that we've been in before, which is about 3 hours away, near the Dalin River. We know it's got protection from the northwest, which is what we've got today, but this is big sea states. We're jumping over 3 metre waves. Waves are on the nose, winds on the nose, currents on the side, slightly on the front, so we've got it all against us today. But we have officially checked out of Turkey, so we need to get on our way, but we're going to just dive back into Turkish territory. And a bay that we know we're going to anchor in. David's up on the helm. There's an island in front, just there somewhere. we're going to go to the right hand side of that island. Now this is a large bay that we've got to get over. We're about a quarter of the way into it. The bilges are all going off because the water's coming over the front. But this is quite a hectic ride. Nothing we haven't done before. The tender's sliding around a little bit, but she's still all tied on. So we've got a few reefs to be careful of, a few little islands dotted here and there. So a little bit of navigation's needed, a little bit of care. We won't be in until dark, but we know the area, so hopefully we'll be fine. Yeah, not the most enjoyable journey today, but we are getting to our destination eventually. We'll leave here tomorrow, and then when it calms down, get ourselves over to Rhodes. But there are some big sea states out there. If you suffer with seasickness, you don't want to be on this journey. That or it'll cure you, one or the other. Buy yourself a boat, they said, it'll be fun. I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, we might have to give this a second thought. I think I might take up walking. We believe that that is Rhodes out there, 30 miles away. And we're coming to the end of our passage today, 7 hours, and we're going into Ekin-Sitkoyu, a bay where we've been before. Just running for shelter, getting out of these 30-40 knot winds. We are flying at 7 knots. We've got some protection from the headland up front. It's getting dark, obviously. That's the entrance to the Dalian River down there. We're actually flying at 7.7 just then.
Is she?
Yeah, look, 7.8, 7.9.
We're getting this in there, mate.
Yeah, 2.94 miles to go. And that's where we're heading. So we've been here before, and that's the Dalian River, all that lot there, and that's our journey today, or part of our journey today. Yeah, no, that is our journey today, out of Gochek,
Yeah.
round here, down here, up here to there, about 7.5 hours. The apparent wind is 24. But we've had up to 42 today, apparent wind. So we decided we would not run for Rhodes because it was the waves were too big. But what a beautiful sunset. And Marmaris is over there. There's Marmaries, and there's the Isle of Rhodes. We are just leaving Ekinsink. This will be our last day in Turkey. Got a beautiful day. Winds are only up to 20 knots, coming from the northwest. We had great protection in here last night. David's pulling the anchor up. 12 metres of water. That's the little bay that we're in. He's done the chart plotter. And there's our route today. Straight to Rhodes. Distance 28.5 miles. David's just making me turn the boat to the port side. So all I'm doing is throttling in tick over. He's got 21 metres to bring up. Wants me to go forward. Last time he was here was about 5 weeks ago, as we worked our way down the coast of Turkey.
How far have we got, Gal?
You got 12 metres, you're almost off the bottom.
Yeah. Pull her forward for me.
Yeah, she's going forward. So, he's now off the bottom. We can turn her on a dime. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 yachts on anchor, including us. David's got the anchor up. That is on 0. And we are now going forward gear with both engines. Accelerate a little bit more with the starboard engine. That will keep us turning. We're away from all the other yachts. Just got to watch that yacht behind us. Go forward, and we're now out of here. That's the course we need to follow. So we need to get to that point now. There's virtually no wind, but it will pick up today. And you can see that's our first port of call there.
She seems good, that new windlass.
Yeah, she was quite strong, didn't she? They'll do when they're new.
Did you hear that thud?
Yeah, she locked, didn't
Pulled
she?
up lovely.
Yeah. And here we go. We are on our way out of Turkey. Straight line today once we get on course. Sorry, on our way to Rhodes, not Turkey. Leaving Turkey. So we're just coming up to our first waypoint. So that displays north up and we're heading basically south. South-southeast. And you can see the run line starting to come over. And that's our second point now, waypoint number 2.
another Dalian River.
Yeah, yeah,
Trips.
yeah. Okay, we're on course for our second waypoint.
Beautiful morning.
So we will get her on her waypoint and then it autopilot. That will keep us roughly on that point. Yeah, beautiful morning.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah, most certainly better than yesterday. There's a little marina just over there. And this is one of the boats that we jumped on, similar to that, maybe even the same one. When we was here 5 weeks ago, when we went up the Dalian River, which is just around that corner somewhere. We're on our way to Rhodes. We've just asked customs in Rhodes the formalities, the procedure. I'd like to think we can go straight into the marina and in check in, but knowing customs, we'll have to go to the customs dock, check in, and then come out of the customs dock, and then we can enter into our marina. But it was a beautiful valley down there, lovely and green. Calm seas, but they won't be out there. It'll be a little bit rough, but not too bad today. Right, let's get this done.